If you're new here, I talk about Star Trek a lot, and the one thing that I haven't talked about a lot is these random rumors about different films and different things going on, different projects. I have occasionally mentioned Legacy, but I haven't talked about the Randomo films. Now, it's been reported that there is going to be a Star Trek Origins film being in production early next year. Now, I'm all for more Star Trek. I have no problem with it. It's stupidly exciting. I have no problem with new Star Trek. I have a problem with where the fuck are they putting this origin? And because they're saying that it's the beginning of the Star Trek universe. It's the beginning. We had First Contact. We literally saw when humans met aliens. So we literally saw humans meet aliens in First Contact. That was the initial birthing origin of this. But then I'm going, so maybe they place it directly after that, and it's not even about sort of Starfleet and Star Trek. It's about sort of how they interact with the Vulcans. But I don't see how that's a movie. Could they send it? They could set it during the formation of the Federation, which would kind of be the origin of the Star Trek universe, sort of slightly after Enterprise, but it's a time where there's a bit of a turbulence. You have the Romulan War. We have this formation of what will become the Star Trek we know. That is a likely place. But there's certainly a weird thing about, we've already had these areas. So Star Trek First Contact showed us humans meeting Vulcans for the first time. Star Trek Enterprise showed us humans exploring further than they ever explored before on the NX-01 with Captain Archer. So unless this is like directly after Enterprise, I don't really see what origin they're talking about. Like, it seems really, really weird to me. And unlike the Star Trek Kelvin films, it's in the Prime universe, which makes zero sense to me because we've already explored these things in the Prime universe. And it's just a weird thing. Like, it took me a long time to come to terms with sort of Starfleet Academy, because the idea of teenagers in space was just a bit. But in terms of the show, once I sort of sat there and went, well, if they go in and they talk about different points in history, different alien species, different cultural elements, how to handle things, like, it'd be really interesting to learn the intricacies of Starfleet while having a fun adventure time. But with Star Trek Origins, and I don't want to say this, I don't know where they're going. It's meant to be the Prime timeline. It's J.J. Abrams' company, so they've even given up on the Kelvin timeline. Star Trek 4, I don't think is ever going to happen. But it's just a really odd decision to go back, and I don't know why they do it with Star Trek so much now, and retread the stuff that we've seen, the stuff that we've done. The only thing I can think of is that they're trying to once again get a younger, cooler audience in, like with the Kelvin films. But I don't think retreading, there's no reason to do that in the Prime universe. Just make a Kelvin film. Just do that. Like, leave the Prime universe on TV, have the Kelvin films, perfect. Don't have to sort of cross it over. Do you think that this is a good idea? Like, I don't think, I would love to have seen a Star Trek 4. I just don't think that, it's been too long now. I think ultimately the fire's gone out of it. In terms of the Section 31 movie, I don't mind TV movies. I think it's a good way to explore concepts in a shorter time frame. So you don't really need a full series, but you get sort of a bang for your buck movie. But this Star Trek Origins just seems lazy. Nothing in Star Trek that really points to this being a really interesting point in the history. Take Star Wars, for example, with episode 1, 2, and 3. We had a character like Darth Vader. super interesting. How did he get like that? Why was he that? What happened to him to become Darth Vader? Those 3 original films set up a real interest in the prequels. Nothing like that for Star Trek Origins. As far as I know, no one is screaming out for a Star Trek movie about the creation of the Federation. No one is. And it's a really odd choice. Like, it's sort of the same reason, like, I don't personally want a Star Trek Legacy, but Star Trek Legacy was a much more popular idea than Starfleet Academy. And it just seems like there's something going on in terms of they just sort of go, no, we're going to do what we want to do. Who cares what the fans want? And this is the ultimate version of that, because it's literally no one was asking it, no one wanted it. What do you think about this? Do you like the idea? Do you think that it could be good? The only way I think it would be interesting is if they went during the Romulan War and the formation of the Federation, like right before it. But we have kind of seen a chunk of that. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this. I have been TrekTrav, and this has been Star Trek Origins. What the fuck? Anyways, have a good night.